What's up, everybody? It's Owen from Devil's Watches here with number 2 on our video series on YouTube. So today's topic, we're going to talk about 3 watches that watch people would appreciate for sub €300 or dollars, whatever currency you use. So on the weekend I went to my first watch meet. Dublin Watch Group had our first meet, and the range of watches there were very different. Like, there was some vintage Submariners, there was Seikos, and when you go to these watch meets you kind of feel intimidated because you don't know what watches people are wearing, what level are you going to be at, what's your collection at, you know, and age comes into. Some people are later in their life, or they have kids are raised, they have all their money, they can spend their money on watches. Other people are starting out, they're trying to get houses. So, but the main goal, what I'm trying to say, is everyone at these watch meets loves watches. So I'm going to talk about 3 watches that I think, if you wear these watches, or if these are your 3 watches in your case, that people would say, okay, you know, we'll give you a little bit of respect. So the first one up is a Bulova. So they do a classic automatic. For me, Bulova is one of my favorite brands. I feel they have so much history. They had a watch on the moon the same way Omega had the watch on the moon the same time. They have the first fully electronic watch. They've been around since the 1800s. They started off in downtown New York, so American-based company, and I just feel that for the history, they're very undervalued for like what the brand actually brings. So they have their classic automatics. I'll put a link in the bio. It's €115, the cheapest I found it. But I think if you bring a Bulova, you know, you can talk with the brand, build up the brand, what they've done. They have their moon watch. They're not an Omega's level, but they're up there with history with the moon landing. So the second watch, which is a Chinese watch, which I think is one of the coolest watches on the market now. It's the Seagull 1963. So it's a remake of a watch that they made, the Seagull made in 1963 for the Chinese Air Force. So to describe the watch, it looks Chinese in the best possible way. They got the red star on the dial. They got the Chinese writing telling you how many jewels are in it. It's a beautiful cream dial. It's on a NATO. I have the price here. I think the cheapest I saw on eBay is €165. But this watch it's just beautiful, and it's a real talking piece. So if someone comes up to you and you know, oh, what's that watch? You can talk for hours on how it's related to the Chinese Air Force, how they it's a remake of the watch that they actually used. Chinese writing, you can tell them what it means. It's just it's a chronograph too, so it's a movement. Seagull themselves do a lot of the movements for higher priced watches. So a lot of so you know, you have your ETA movements, but Seagull do their own movements for a lot of like €500 watches, $500 kind of watch level. A lot of these watches would use the Seagull movement, so you're getting a good movement. It's a chrono. It has history, military history, and has a load of cool Chinese writing on it. So, you know, ticks all the boxes, and it's a piece that you can talk about. And then third and finally, you can't do watches without mentioning the Seiko SKX. To me, it's a beautiful watch. I love it. I think it's great. Do I think it's a bit over the top with the amount of publicity it gets, and how people make pages just for this watch? Like, it's a €300 watch and it has the biggest cult following. But obviously, if it has a cult following, there's obviously a reason. So you watch if you go on to Houdinki and you watch Talking Watches, and they meet famous people and they're going through their collection, they'll be like, I have this vintage watch, I have this watch, I have a AP, a Patek. And then every collection, somewhere hidden around the back, like, oh, but this is the one I wear every day. It's my SKX. And they come in a number of models. So I think the most famous one is the 007. They've 009 with different, mainly it's just different colour bezels. Dial different colour, but you know, they're all pretty much the same watch, but just different color schemes. So they're the 3 watches that I think if you went to any watch meet and you opened your case, you had one, a Bulova, maybe one of their classic automatics. So you know, it's an automatic watch. Has the history of the moon landing. Has the first electrical watch. It's a US made company. You know, there's a lot to talk about. Second, you had the Seagull 1963. You know, the military background. It's Chinese. It's an unusual style. Looks great in a NATO. If someone sees it, it's distinctive. If someone sees, they know, hey, you're wearing that watch. And then finally, the SKX dive watch. I think it's 200 meters water resistant, so you know you can get in the shower, pool, swim, do what you want with. They're the 3 watches I think if you show up to any watch meet, you pull them out. It's not going to break the bank, but you'll get a lot of respect from the people around you, your peers, and you won't be afraid going into that watch meet saying, oh, what if I don't have the watches these guys have? So that's all I gotta say. If you want to hit me up or have any ideas for videos, we're on Instagram at Devil's Watches. We're on Facebook at Devil's Watches. We're even on TikTok. Don't know what it is yet, but we're on it. And we also have the website www.devilwatches.com. So wrist shot, show you what I'm wearing today. We got the Devil watch, rose gold on the black strap. We got the rose gold clasp, butterfly clasp. So these are available on the website. If you want, show up with 3 Devil watches to a watch meet and you'll get respect. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all them things, and we'll probably see you next week. Thank you.